Oh, I bet
That's
you think you're
cool.
really cool because you dated Satsi.
Did you date Sandy?
I, Sean, hereby request Josh Ovalle collaboration with the Internet is Dead podcast. Please, Josh, be a guest on the podcast. We miss you.
Welcome to the podcast, Sean TC. Get it? Thor Conroe.
I know, but why wouldn't you say STC?
We got STC joining us today. Can I call you that? It's cool if I call you that.
I'm gonna like throw up.
I'm wearing an Elvis shirt. I felt like it kind of reminded me of you for some
An
reason.
Elvis shirt? Damn,
Yeah.
why?
I don't know. Isn't there some kind of like man lore with Elvis? I forget what it is.
Okay, just a general man lore.
I like your background.
Yeah, where are you
Thank you,
currently?
thank you. I'm at my house. I'm at my house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that in New York?
No, it's not in New York. It's kind of out of New York.
Coming on, we're excited
Yeah,
to
thank you
talk to
guys for
you.
having me.
Yeah.
I read Fuckboy recently. It kind of made me suicidal to read.
Oh no, why?
Well, okay, like we're both from Philly. We've been in Philly until like the last like 4 or 5 months. So it felt very very triggering to me as someone who lived in Philly.
I mean, that's good. It's good to be triggered. It's good to get a little
Yeah.
triggered.
Yeah, I don't think it was in a negative way, like suicidal in a positive way, I guess.
It'll be a little negative. That's all right.
I feel like I'm just like very, my earplug just fell out. I feel like I'm just like very sensitive to what I read, where like when I'm reading something, I'll start like thinking in the author's voice and like really like taking the tone like and like I don't know, just like feeling it very deeply. And I feel like I had to make a very conscious effort while reading Fuckboy to not do that because I didn't want to start thinking like in that voice and like it making me like just like think in like broken internet English, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it can take you over. Thank you for reading it. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm excited to talk about like that though, because I feel like you built in a very like unique world and just like how you executed it in the book. And I feel like it's interesting like in terms of like the future of literacy. And
to kind of start off before getting into all of that, do you want to talk a little bit about your background? I know you grew up in, or you were born in Tokyo, right? And then your family moved to America. So yeah, I'm curious just what felt important to you growing up, and also specifically how that identity of growing up within two cultures shaped you.
Yeah, I moved a lot growing up. I was born in Tokyo, and then um, yeah, I moved like every couple years. I moved to like Sacramento, and then Scotland, then upstate New York for a year for third grade, and then for like fourth through sixth grade, I was in Sacramento again. And then I moved to Santa Cruz for middle and high school, and then Philly for undergrad, back to California, then Philly for 3 years. Like
wait, where did you go to school in Philly also?
I went to Swarthmore.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Or
yeah.
Yeah, outside of Philly the first time.
Okay.
But yeah, no, my parents like were like they took care of like handicapped people growing up. We just like moved to random communities like growing up in different places.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. But then been in New York State, well, New York City since 2019, and then I recently moved kind of upstate.
Mm. Were you very online like throughout like that process? Like at what point did you like get on the internet also?
Yeah, not really. It was interesting because I was thinking about your guys' pod, and I was like, just now today I was looking at some of your guys' episodes. I also like I got a little intimidated because you guys are really like upbeat, and I thought for some reason I thought like from the clips I thought you guys like I don't know I was like, but it's probably not good to look at the podcast right before you go on it.
No, I think that's normal.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
good.
it's interesting because there's like a lot of similarities with like people y'all talking to and stuff, or have talked to and stuff. But I'm kind of like I'm a little bit of a luddite in some ways because like in terms of like for example like the alt lit stuff, I knew about Tao. I've always been a fan of Tao since I was like younger, since like 2000, since Taipei time pretty much. But otherwise, I wasn't really in like I didn't I had a flip phone until like 2016.
Okay.
And like so like you know, a lot of the early 2010s I was just like not so much on the internet. Really it started with like when I first started writing around like 2017, like finding people I liked online. Um, and yeah, that's kind of my internet
Mhm.
history.
Yeah.
But
Well, in
yeah,
Were
in
you just
obviously
2017, like where, like what was like your introduction to like finding people online and like what platforms were you using?
it was yeah, I would like that's when I started like publishing some stuff on like little online journals and stuff, in
Mhm.
2017. And obviously like, fuckboy came out of the whole Tyrant books, like
Yeah.
history, which is like Gian, Gian ditrapano. So like he was really like someone I like gravitated towards around then. After reading his books though, after encountering his books off the internet,
Yeah.
I was like,
okay?
why are all these books? What's the connection between like McClanahan and like the early Atticus Lish book? Those are really and kind of through Tao. So
Mhm.
like yeah, so that's kind of, and I would look at like like the Moo Moo House stories and stuff like that. But besides
Yeah.
that, I wasn't really like that. Yeah, I mean like I was like
So it was really like an
I'm like
intro into like the alt-lit scene for you that like kind of put you online.
Yeah, because I think back then there was like a literary element to like Twitter and stuff. You know,
Yeah. It
like
still feels that way to me, but yeah, I know what you
yeah,
mean.
it can. Yeah, yeah. I think that's maybe just where I am at with it, but yeah, yeah. So I think around that time, like it did feel like, and that's when I was like first following like Tyrant and stuff like that, like more closely. Um,
Mhm.
Okay.
but yeah, yeah.
Got it. I'm also curious, kind of building off of that, when writing came into the picture for you. Like, were you just always writing, even before you got
I
online?
was writing like I went to Swarthmore from like 2009 to 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think it was like yeah, kind of I think my sophomore year I started like taking classes like writing, or I started taking classes of reading, like a modernist class and
Mm-hmm.
modernism class. And then that was kind of like when I realized I like quit basketball because I was on the basketball team and stuff, and then I started writing more. Or
Mhm.
like I decided I was just gonna be writing,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then like started taking like workshops in undergrad, um, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
I'm.
funny that you just read the book now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
because like
it's really weird talking about your whole like, so your biography is like,
no, it's funny because like I know that the book's been like around for a while and people have talked about it a lot,
yeah,
and
people
like
talk
I
about it, they
think
rarely read it.
yeah, well, I was
Yeah.
talking to people like specifically like boys in New York
Yeah.
They
love to
really
talk
like
about
it.
it,
They
Oh, is
love
that
especially
talking
right?
like
about it.
What, talk shit?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they love it.
They
They
love it.
love it. And I think that
Yeah.
like that created a certain image of it for me like before going into it and reading it. Um yeah, it really really like just reminds me of guys from Philly. The book.
Yeah.
Why do I still want to know why it made you suicidal? That's the
Well, I feel like it's kind of
it's a
like
story of death and resurrection. It's a hopeful
I
story.
think like the way it's written specifically because
Yeah.
it's just like I
That's
think you did what you came to do, but like
Yeah.
that type of writing for me is like really like difficult to like because I think it's really just like how sensitive I am to like what I'm reading.
mm,
Because it's like a lot of just like careless like speaking, like which is purposeful. Like just like the
right.
dialogue between the characters and stuff and like the like perspective it's written from. It's just like a lot. You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
that when you're reading, where you like start thinking in the writer's or in the
We
narrator's
were actually
voice?
just talking about this before you joined the call because I was like talking about how like in New York, like people talk a similar way and like the idea of like taking on your friends' voices and stuff, which I think is a
Yeah.
similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's a good writer, it should kind of get under your skin, I think, a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
my book is, I think that's why it's like, kind of like avant-garde and stuff, is because like it does, like that stuff's not, I think, yeah, I remember had this one interview I did, but then like I did a bunch of interviews from like different domains of cultural of culture,
Mm-hmm.
and I for whatever reason the interview never went up, but it was like an NPR interview,
Oh,
and
interesting.
it was like right when the book happened, and then like I ended up going on like yeah, I did other podcasts and stuff. Maybe, yeah, but but they didn't put it up. It was like this. It was like this white dude, this older guy. He was just like, he was before a lot of the reviews came out, and like a lot of like just like the, I don't know, just the madness of it started.
Mhm.
So he came at it like really naively, and he was just like, I can't believe this book. Like, I've never heard this language. Like, I've been talking to my wife in like just saying stuff you say all week. Um, I don't know.
Damn, what did you say in there that they didn't want to put it up?
I know. I want to hear
No,
this
I didn't say
interview.
anything in there. I think I just like went on like other. I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like there's like a NPR versus like internet path.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that
you have
makes
to
sense.
straddle. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they just kept being like, it's gonna go up next week, and it never went up. But
Yeah.
the dude loved it. The dude loved it. But no, I don't know. I don't know what my point is. My point is,
No, that's interesting though.
um, yeah, I think I have some writers like that who I get into their voice.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's also there's a tradition of like writing with a certain orality, like a spoken tone, like
Mm.
McClanahan's like that. But then I've been, like, yeah, I've been reading. Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a standard literary. It's pretty non-traditional. I think the book is, but
Yeah.
it does get into it. I mean, it's pretty like it's funny when I feel like people just talk about it and don't read it because I'm like, this is like the most. I think it's like the most readable shit ever. And I think it should be funny and not just suicidal for anyone who's listening.
No,
Like
and it was
quite
funny. It
funny.
was funny for sure.
I know you mentioned kind of entering like the alt lit scene and Tao's name and all of that. And I'm
Well,
curious
yeah,
just how your perception of that has evolved from, because now I feel like your name is often grouped in with that label, I feel like. And I'm
yeah.
curious like how you feel about that association.
Mm.
I mean, I'm kind of, I never, yeah, I'm a little bit, what do I want to say about this?
Well,
Um,
also it's interesting that you weren't super online and then like you're in that like association.
right, right. Um, yeah, I mean, I think like, I, yeah, I kind of feel like there's an immediacy to online writing, like, and like a sort of like anti institutionalized voice that like I don't know, just like an unspoken quality, and just I mean, you got 1,000 words to get someone to read what you're saying, that like I've been drawn to. But I feel like I work like I have ingrained in me like a uh, understanding or orientation towards like older forms. I feel like, you know what I mean, like whether that was just from how I was reading when I was younger, or I mean, the thing is, like the book, and I think the book has that in it, like
Mhm.
all the acts and all the things it's doing, but it kind of pretends it doesn't, with fuckboy.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think that you stay in New York for a certain amount of time and go through different phases of themes and stuff, and you kind of grow out of certain
Hmm.
aspects of it. And obviously the whole experience putting fuckboy out and everything that led to it, and just like, yeah, there's just different phases of stuff. It's also interesting because like I think when fuckboy was gearing up, like during the COVID year, essentially, that's when we were like working on fuckboy with Gian, who was the editor of Tyrant. Like we were like talking our shit like it was going to be like a whole new era. It wasn't like the old, like I think almost like existentially it's different than other kind of quote unquote alt lit writing, where
Hmm.
like it's actually more like, and it's again interesting you said you feel suicidal, but
I'm
I
so
think it's
happy that
more
this has
like
become like kind of a
I
main
know.
but it's
overarching
but it's very
idea
but
for
it's
these.
not like early tens nihilism, I don't think. Like, like it's
Mm.
like actually like very earnest and
Hmm.
very vulnerable and very like, like I swear it's like on some like Sorrows of Young Werther shit. It's like art will save me. you know?
Mm.
It's like that's like German romanticism. It's like that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably funny to say to someone who has like a cursory understanding of fuckboy and has like read a few clips of like, how I'm talking in there. Sometimes, not all the time.
Well, also with you saying that it's like a funny book, like I think is super true. I think like the reason for me that I obviously got the sense of it being funny and felt those moments where it was. I just like think I like almost couldn't laugh at it because it was like too real to me.
See, that's
If
another
that,
thing. You got the Philly connection.
yeah,
So you
and
get
That's
that's
what
what
I
it
was
feeling from
gonna
your
was.
say.
Philly.
Like I think someone
Yeah.
not from Philly maybe would like be
Right.
able to laugh at it more,
You
and
have to, yeah,
I don't
the
know, but
nuances
also
of the
it
West
feels
Philly
very
arguments.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Like if
also
you're
like
reading it and you see the fresh grocer, then you're not gonna be able to laugh at the
yeah, you're
book
like,
because you're gonna
okay,
be
like
like,
I'm closing
okay.
the book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close the book now. And
R.I.P. that fresh grocer.
yeah, I think like while the Philly thing exists, also just like the like boy experience of this generation too was something that was like very like present in my head while I was reading it. Um, of just like the toxic masculinity and like the way that you explored that.
Right.
And yeah, I feel like that is what almost like repulsed me, but I think like that probably meant you did a good job at what you were doing and what you were going for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think the whole trick of that book is like, which I don't really see anybody even coming close to doing. I'm just gonna like say, also just, I feel like a little bit, yeah, I don't know what's going on in literature, but um, I think the trick of it is that like, it's not like Patrick Bateman or something like that. It's not like completely alienating, the American Psycho guy. Like
Yeah.
it's not like completely alienating the reader in this kind of like cold shock factor thing. But it's not.
Mm.
So it's like being super, having a voice that like pushes all these buttons, but then like continually turning it, but you can't completely alienate yourself from the character. So it's like more upsetting.
Mm.
But probably the only other writer who's like that is like Welbeck.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah.
guys
Mm.
know Welbeck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but he says like he'll just say the most gnarly shit, right? That's upsetting. But he's so sad that that's the case. And if you
Yeah.
read it through the end, he doesn't want these sad things he sees about the world and about the dating world, dating life today, and you know, yeah, the
Mm.
kind of pessimism at all. It's like he doesn't want that to be true. I don't know. I guess I'm
Mm.
not everyone humanizes Welbeck like I'll do.
No,
But
and I love that you are, honestly.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. There was like a Becky and E-boy party in New York where they like all read
oh
like
my God.
passages from him and
Oh
like
my god.
all these like
I
all
don't
people were on the bill. Like it's just like a thing here. Someone's like
right.
now doing
Yeah.
a Pinchinian E-boy.
Pinchinian.
Yeah.
Is that how you would say that?
Pinchinian.
E-boy party, which I think is really funny because now they're like
Nice,
just
nice,
continuing down. Um
nice.
but I was gonna ask specifically with fuckboy because I feel like when it came out from like what I've seen online, there was like a very polarized reaction with people like praising it for being like a generational novel and then
Yeah.
critiques about like what it meant for literature. And I know you said before in other interviews that you wanted to reach people who are disconnected from books or like don't read a lot. And I'm curious about what motivated that intention and also just like how you feel about critiques about it not being real literature and like just like the decline of literacy in terms of like, oh, like I have to like write this to like reach people who don't read a lot in order for people to read, if that makes sense. But obviously that's not like your direct intention or like
No, that's not. Yeah, I mean that quote follows me around everywhere, and it's like, I mean, which is, I guess it's a kind of like bold thing to say, I guess, but that's what the character says, like in the book. He's like walking around,
mm,
he has an epiphany. He's like, oh, I'm gonna, you know what I mean, like,
mm,
which kind of makes it a little bit different. It's not like I'm coming out and saying like this book, because that's, yeah, but
yeah.
um um no, it's like, the avant-garde has to impact mainstream culture. Like it has, like the avant-garde has to be kind of pop. Like it has to be like if it's super obscure, it's like not doing the work of the avant-garde. Like it has to like infiltrate, but
Mm,
it has to like be polar. It has to like, you have to like you should be questioning whether it's art or not. Like, or like whether the validity of the art. Like, like, you know, it's supposed to upset. It's supposed to incite those types of responses, I think. I think it's definitely like an element when I was in the lab with it, like with Gian, who was my editor, who passed away. It's like very much, yeah, we're just like ramp it up more, like let's fucking make these people so angry, because that's the point. Like, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a whole kind of, yeah, secret, deliberate provocation that's going on.
Yeah.
It's obviously deliberate, but
Yeah.
and then it's like, yeah, but then walking through that fire is another thing. But no, I don't know. I mean, I think it's, yeah, I'm a little bit disconnect. It's a little bit distant now. Although people do find a way to continue to get upset about it, but no, I mean, I think, yeah, I think just kind of calling into question all those things you think about what is, good and, I don't know, acceptable, not acceptable.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've said it before, but just like with my upbringing, my kind of malleable upbringing, I just like lean into the things that I feel like aren't being expressed in terms of like modes of expression. But it's also just a self-contained novel that like has its own code, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy release process.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna just say that, like, one of the things that I was thinking about while reading it and like while reflecting on it afterwards, and I know like this obviously wasn't your intention, I'm guessing, while writing it, but we had Gabby Brow on like a little while ago, and she was talking about how um like this idea that literature and education will eventually become something for the ultra privileged and top 1% because of like how literacy is declining across the board. And I'm curious, like, if you think that writing books in that, like, in using like internet style language, if that like helps make literature more accessible as like a way to kind of push back against that.
Well, yeah, it already is. I think it already is. That's the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing where people are like, even when people get so upset at, me for getting slightly more attention for the book than, or whatever, it's like, dude, we're all in some like niche, tiny thing. Like, it's so
Sorry,
irrelevant.
my cat is like trying to eat my headphones. Let me let her out of my room real quick.
Oh shit, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess I was saying that I think it already is in a lot of ways. Like, it is kind of irrelevant to the culture. Um, and like, yeah, and I think that the trend of like infusing literature with like a new type of vernacular that's like not supposed to be in literature is like a thing that happens over and over time, but like
Yeah.
it just gets ingrained in, like, that's like, yeah, I've said it before, but like when Salinger is like saying like damn after every line,
Yeah.
like in Catcher in the Rye, that was like super wild. When Hemingway is typing like all casual, all fucking conversational, that was like really wild too, but good to be ambitious about. I mean, I just think like reading, and I was reading like those letters, the Kafka's like letters. You guys know about Kafka's letters?
I know about them. I haven't read them
Yeah.
though.
Because he had this like woman who was his translator, who was like, and he was like, but the letters are all just like to her, like one after another, and they're like just going into like the daily stuff. And I think it's called Letters to Milena. I think it like, I don't know. I think it's kind of well-known thing, but I was just reading it for the first time, and he's like talking about, he's like, I can't sleep, like I have like insomnia, like I didn't do anything, like didn't leave the house, but like I managed to write a little bit today, and like that's good. And I'm writing this letter, so like I feel better now. And like I think it's like good to realize, like, just like read. It's like things do feel better when you read.
Yeah.
Like, right, instead of being on your phone, and like, at least for me, at least for me,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
a little
it's
exiled up in
crazy.
the cabin, but
Well,
like
Yeah.
it
I
does
thought,
work. It does work.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like you bringing up Catcher in the Rye and like the language in that book is interesting because I remember reading that in school when I was younger and being like liking it for like that sort of language and how it was like less like old English and other books or whatever. And that's interesting to imagine that like that's the same thing that's happening with like internet-esque books. And like I'm curious if you worry about the future in that sense, because it's like I feel like moving from like something really old, like harder to read and like to Catcher in the Rye, that feels less intense, but maybe at the time it was just as intense as like reading Fuckboy now, comparing Fuckboy to Catcher in the Rye.
Banned places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if like that at all like worries you or scares you in terms of the future of literacy, because it's like how much farther are we gonna take it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like a die. I mean, if you get into that headspace, I just do what I do. But if you start talking to like publishers and stuff, like I think that like the idea of doing things for literature and like retaining this idea of like literature that's like is kind of like it's like pretty nihilistic, I feel like. Obviously, like, people are just kind of like looking at other metrics to just keep the industry afloat.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I often think about like, yeah, I've been on like some difficult thinking, but I do think or reading and thinking, like kind of just going back to older shit. But I do think like there has to be like, yeah, I often feel like leaning into certain sides of my like language and myself, like, or not so deliberately, but I do think there's like creating like an archetype of because there isn't really like an archetype for like a dude, certain types of people who would even consider reading about
Yeah.
right? And there's also like a psyop to like make any type of male reading like whack. Like every type of reading, it's like, oh, it's performative. You're trying to fuck girls. Like, oh, it's you're just trying to read a big book, and like any type of that's like a deliberate like culture destroying psyop.
Yeah.
And I'm the last person fighting against it.
God.
You're
Okay,
the
shutting that
one.
down.
No, but it's true. It's true. It's
Oh my God.
Kind of like building off of that, I'm curious, like since Fuckboy came out in 2022 to now, do you think that just like with the culture and with the internet, do you feel like male alienation, both online and offline, has gotten better or worse?
I mean, COVID was like completely catastrophic.
Yeah.
So probably worse, right?
Yeah.
What do you
I
guys
mean, we had a
you
interesting
guys
experience in the park. Brittany, do you want to share your
Oh yeah.
experience?
Well, I just like was sitting in Tompkins Square Park and like these. Do you know who Owen Cook is? It's this like pickup artist guy. He got super popular in like early YouTube. And he was teaching this class to a bunch of boys, like 20 or 30 of them, standing gathered in the park. And he was like teaching them how to pick up girls. And it was like very, very fascinating to watch because it was like kind of like I talked to some of them after, and it was like with the intention of, oh, we're like trying to solve the male loneliness epidemic, but it's like I like researching it a bit, like which I feel like not super worth getting into all like the details of it, but like it's very obviously like a toxic sort of practice and just like very misogynistic. Like they like count like lay counts and stuff, like as in like how many people
what
they can have
counts?
sex. Lay counts, it's like
Oh,
how
lay
it's their
counts.
count for how
Lay
many people they've
counts?
had sex with, who they've
Mm-hmm.
tried to pick up. It's really interesting. I'm like trying to write something about it right now, but yeah, I like seeing that in person because I've never witnessed something like that in my life. I was just like, okay, this is like really bad if like men are resorting here. And like obviously I knew that already. Like I think things have just been getting worse and worse in terms of like I don't know, I think the internet's making us all really crazy. But also I think there's like a lot of like also at the same time like people are becoming more aware, and like there's also a lot of men who are maybe becoming more aware in a good way, and like there's more like solace available in terms of like the tools to like learn something else.
Yeah, but then I feel like because the reason I brought it up was I feel like my understanding of it when I was witnessing it was like Oh, this is like trying to like stop men from entering like an incel pipeline, you know, and like stop
Yeah.
men from being like very like red pilled online, whatever. And it's like what like like what else is gonna like stop that? You know what I mean? And like is like I'm curious like because like fuckboy also like felt like a little bit like this like place in literature that's like trying to offer men something that they maybe were looking for online, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like too lame for for dudes to buy a book and read it. So so I only get like intellectuals who went to like Ivy League schools
No,
like
I wouldn't
ranting about it in
agree. I don't know.
publication.
I feel like a lot of the people who I talk to, like, it has kind of offered them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw a comment or something that was like in a perfect world, this would be what dudes read instead of reading like Jordan Peterson, but
Yeah,
no one, but like people
that's an
can't.
interesting comment.
And
That is really
there's
interesting.
been like articles about that. Like I think there was an article like some European conservative newspaper that was like Andrew Tate sucks. Like you should read this book.
Interesting.
Mm,
Because he can laugh because he doesn't take because he can laugh at himself.
mm,
Yeah.
But no, but I don't know. That stuff has been so played up. That stuff has been so played up. Like
what do you
the
mean?
like I think there was a moment like early on in the book's publication where there was just one point where it was like let's submit the line of like male literature, you know? Like this is like
Mm,
the male like just using that term
mm,
or
Mm-hmm.
like and I feel like that I mean it spawned a whole subculture of articles that still go to
Yeah.
this like um it's like a fucking uh what's it called like a I can't remember the name of the phrase of like a little yes just like a category of article um but I mean the book is yeah I feel like my writing is actually like pretty sensitive or whatever. Or it's like, it's like he's, it's like sound, it's like it's a rom it's it's he's trying to
It's a romance.
yeah, it's like Sally Rooney. It's just a little
Yeah,
I,
just like Sally.
I go to like I go to this one, I go to this one class every year at USC where this dude teaches the book and
Mhm.
the girl, a lot of the, young college age women like they get really angry in the beginning, but then by the end they like love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
It's interesting. Like, what is your? I'm curious about what your like. What part of it you feel like they're getting angry at, and then what shifts that?
well, because he's initially brash and upset,
Oh,
and
you
then
mean in just like teaching the book? I thought you meant like.
I mean in the literal progression of reading the book through,
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you
right?
meant like you were like a lesson. Like, okay, never mind. Sorry, I
Oh no, oh
misunderstood.
throughout
Yeah,
the duration of the class, like
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
be like reading it, like they'll read it over a few weeks, and like people will like talk about how that but then I'll go and talk in the class, and I just think in the duration of the book, like where the narrator completely breaks down and like has a
Hmm.
crisis, and
Yeah,
then like you're like, oh, this is um, yeah, this dude's fucked up.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like my whole stick now. Is like, no, like my writing is for the ladies, it's not for men. That whole idea of like this is for men, like this is it's like they ain't gonna buy the book. Like I work job, I'll work, I'll be in certain spaces and I'll just like look, work a job or something. And I'll just like realize everybody in this damn work site would never purchase a book that came out recently and read it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like the project with like the pod and everything is like
Mm,
demystifying and like demystifying literature like out of the academic realm and you know
hmm.
looking at it more.
Well, you
Yeah.
think that primarily, like, in terms of people buying newer books and reading them, it's mostly women?
I think statistically, it's like almost 100% women. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
Interesting.
that statistic online too, but I feel like in terms of like I don't know. I feel like anyone who I've talked to about your book has been a man. Like every like men who I know like are the people who have like talked about your book to me. So maybe it's
You
not
might
as
be hanging
much.
out with the wrong men.
Maybe it's a New
Maybe
York
I'm
thing
just playing.
also. I feel
it might
like
be a New
New
York
York
thing.
Yeah,
men.
you live in downtown New York.
I think that
Yeah,
might be
well,
it.
but
Get
also we
south of
only
fucking
moved here
South
4 months
14th
ago,
Street.
but
You get south of 14th Street. All bets are off.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
I did
underworld.
want to ask like one more question because I know you're like I don't know, maybe you don't have an answer for this, but I did want to ask one more question about like masculinity in terms of writing because I feel like with that perception, like with men like reading your book, like do you think there's a way to write honestly about flawed masculinity without then feeding the same narratives that radicalize men online?
I don't think the book radical people online or men.
Yeah.
I get a lot of messages from people. Like it definitely like or is that yeah? Do you think it does? I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say it radicalizes men online. I would just say that it like it's reminiscent of like that personality, but I think it's like writing in a self-aware
Yeah, you got it.
sort of way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of people.
And obviously you break that down by the end of it,
I
but
think if you
Because
read the beginning of the book, that kind of
I
is, yeah.
I can tell when people write reviews where they stop reading.
Yeah.
I literally can because it's the August chapter. It's the job in Vermont when he starts breaking down and gets hospitalized and stuff. And it's like
yeah.
you can read the first 2 seasons and you're like but like by the end it's like he's just surrounded by like like powerful women like you
Mm.
know for better or for worse but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean I guess I would say I would I don't think I don't think it does. I would hope that it doesn't. And I think that um
Well, maybe even like taking like fuckboy out of the picture and just like generally, like, do you
right.
think? Because I feel like there's like a lot of books like that. Like even some of Tal's books like play into like a really like a toxic sort of like narrator who's a man and like perpetuates kind of like those sorts of ideas. But it's like it makes me wonder like men who I'm friends with who read it like do they then find it like somehow more acceptable in a way like obviously that's like not the takeaway you should have but and he's writing in a self-aware way where it's like oh you're like actually writing about like these toxic things
Right.
but yeah
I would say two things. One is that I think the category of literature of the alienated, isolated, misanthropic narrator is like historically a very, it's like Hunger by Knut Hamsun. That's just like a Salinger. That's like a very classic archetype.
Mhm.
And it's also like a very, regardless of the gender, like my year of rest and relaxation is like this. It's a
mm.
misanthropic narrator that's isolated from the world, and the reading experience is a private experience where you feel alienated. I mean, it's like Taipei. It's like
Yeah
parties and like
yeah
talking
that's
about
what I was thinking about with
Yeah.
Taipei yeah
Taipei made me really sad when
mm.
but so I think that's one thing about it, and I think the other thing is I think that like like dating people's mental health, people's ability to connect with each other, people's ability to have meaningful relationships and not just go to their phone and just like dating, online dating culture, like it's kind of like fucked up, like regardless of the side it's coming from. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like so
Mhm.
I think that for people to try to probe that stuff in an honest, vulnerable way, even a self-eviscerating way, is valuable because I think the alternative is a lot of literature that's sort of like the opposite. It's not vulnerable. It's not accountable. It's like we all know that men are toxic, and like I'm doing all this. Like that's the category of literature now. It's like I'm just doing this. Yeah, I'm acting completely terribly to people, but
Yeah.
I'm a victim. So,
Mm.
and then there's no self-aware, and it's kind of like, but that sounds like there's a lot of male literature like that too. That's kind of the headspace we're in now, where it's like any type of self, because it's upsetting. The reason why it's upsetting, and probably the reason why it made you feel bad, is because you have to look, and when you see men, especially certain type of intellectual men, who get so upset about the book, and this is like my rant when I was like getting attacked for the book, is you have to look at it yourself. You have to look at yourself. That's really why some men get really upset at it, because they're like, I'm one of the good ones, and he made me think about what my actual behaviors, and it's all stuff he thinks and stuff he says, and that ethic of like it's a very like it's my Japanese seppuku mentality where I just take, it's like turn the sword on yourself and make the reader look at themselves, which is not a thing that a lot of people like doing these days.
But that's what reading's for.
Yeah.
Ideally, but it can also be just, let's all point at the bad thing and feel better about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of writing is too, and the book becomes like a symbol for your empathy, right? Like, which is obviously all literature has to be about humanism and empathy and compassion. But the way you get there and the way great literature gets there is not always so A to B, but yeah, I guess that's what I would say. But can you think of books that are like unabashedly toxic, that are like feeding? I don't think any. I think there's a rejection of any type of book that like even approaches any type of those issues, which I think is why it was such a histrionic like reaction to my book.
Well, I guess I'm not necessarily saying that's like the ideal of the book. I'm just like more so saying it touches on that, and then it's like to maybe like some type of man who reads it, like maybe that type of man's gonna take it and be, like not read it the way that it's intended. And I think that's more so what I'm talking about.
Yeah, which I think also like you bring up like like Catcher in the Rye, like is because like people did that with like Catcher in the Rye, and like with like every like book ever that I think has that kind of like narrator who's unlikable but also likable in a, I don't know, it's like a weird dynamic.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
interesting in the age of like the in the manosphere specifically too, I think.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then the publishing industry can just refuse to publish more of my books, and then the boys will just keep fucking gooning and fucking listening to someone on the internet.
Listening to Andrew Tate.
Listening to Andrew Tate.
That's funny.
Fuck, I'm trying to separate myself from this whole domain. I'm trying to separate
Yeah.
this whole
No, well,
domain.
I'm like curious about how you kind of like I don't know, just like your perspective on that like type of sphere, and just like if you think that there's like a way to save them.
Yeah, it's I mean, I guess that in some ways I kind of already am, but also I just think it is a weird time right now, I think. And it's like a complicated time. And I think like I have empathy for everybody who's like, regardless of what gender they are, like or I try to, of like, who just can't really find a way to find, be useful, or have self-esteem through like the economy or relationships. And I think that that's kind of lacking too, in the culture out wide. But also it's all polarized. So at least now it's more hard to discern what the sides even. I don't. I mean, if we're trying to be as optimistic as possible, it seems like some of that stuff is it's all breaking down. I don't know. For better or for worse, but it is kind of like there does seem to be like we're getting out of some like incredibly polarized thing that probably peaked like with the last up in the lead up to the last election. But yeah, I think yeah, literature should get us out of those categorical viewpoints, which is probably why I like leaned so hard into like I made the voice what it was, and you were kind of people were like, is this literature? And it's like because because the craft, the more dumb and unliterary it's certain cadences sound, the more rigor you have to put into the craft of the thing as a whole to strike that balance. Doesn't mean everyone's gonna get it though, but but yeah, I think every book should kind of like have a whole new voice and like a whole new thing it's looking at. So I don't think, yeah, I'll write another book in that exact same tone.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'll read
I
it.
was gonna ask, kind of, are you working on anything like new that's like, or like, do you want to like explore similar themes or like something different?
I think
Yeah, do
I'm
you feel like
interested
you're on a
in.
mission with this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's all I do. I just write books. Whether anyone decides to publish them is not really up. But yeah, I definitely think like interpersonal relationships, like that idea of like how people are able to connect with each other, because I think that's also like the element of the book that probably comes out of some of the people we're talking about, like Tao and stuff, and just like, or even like the alienated narrator
Yeah.
category he's talking about, where it's like all the different difficulties of communicating with other people in an intimate context or romantic context, or not even necessarily that context, is like um, the thing I'm most concerned with. So, I'm just, yeah, that's probably my continued concern as a writer. It's like relationships and yeah, romance writer, just like Sally Rooney.
Just like Sally. Yeah.
Just like
I
Sweet
love
Sally.
that the idea of that comparison. I hope like let's clip
Oh
that.
yeah.
Just
Oh yeah.
fuckboy is just like Sally Rooney. Also, let's
Just
clip
like normal
this
people.
book made me suicidal. Let's clip that too.
Absolutely.
As a quote, as a pull quote.
Oh
No,
man. Oh man. No,
but
it's full of fun.
I think that like focus on interpersonal relationships is really interesting and necessary too, because it is like really freaky just how you can live your entire life honestly never going outside or like never talking to another human being. And I feel like that was also the thing that I was thinking about when like Brittany had encountered those people in the park, like the pickup artist people, because I'm like, oh, their whole thing is that they're trying to like teach these men how to like say hello to people. And it's just really weird that you can go your whole life without doing that and still have a life, you know?
Yeah. 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 You gotta go. You gotta go outside and do something. I don't know if cold approaching a bunch of people,
Yeah.
unsuspecting young women in Tompkins Square Park is the solution. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough state of affairs of how people are able to relate to each other, and
Mhm.
I think I'm just removing myself. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm self isolating for the purpose. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think, I guess in theory that's a good instinct to go outside. I think going outside is good. Being out here is good.
Mhm.
But probably it would be better to focus on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you guys like New York? Is it good
I
city?
love it so far. It's
Great.
awesome. It's lit
Love it.
here.
Yeah.
Super fun. Feels I like it better than Philly so far.
Where
Yeah,
are you guys
same.
in Philly? Oh, but up at
Um,
Temple.
yeah,
Temple, yeah. And then
we were in
Fairmount.
North and then Fairmount, but we spent a lot of time just like in like West and South and stuff too. Yeah.
New York's awesome though. Love it. We met Radio Rebel, the guy from Radio Rebel, an old Disney Channel movie the other day.
Oh,
Great.
nice.
Great.
Yeah, it was
Great
super lit. And
meeting.
then we went home, we were like, okay, so we're gonna watch that now, right? So then
Yeah.
last night we watched Raider Rebel and we were like, wow, he's so dreamy.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't know what this is, but
It's like an old Disney
It's
movie. It was
yeah.
like
nice.
when Disney movies started to like
Started to
get
get bad.
like it was like the first it was maybe one of the last like good ones. But it like was still verging on like being a little corny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you like Philly when you were living there? Or like I'm also curious, like, yeah, just what your like what importance Philly holds for you.
Mm,
Yeah, it's definitely one of my places,
Yeah.
yeah.
probably. It's, yeah, there's no place like it. Everybody's yeah, you have a specific understanding of I don't know. Yeah, just kind of. I'm not making any sense right now, but
Understand
yeah,
something differently, you mean? Like it's
yeah,
just like a
yeah.
different
It's
way of
just like
thinking.
yeah, it's people
Yeah.
like it's like yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, I have a soft spot for Philly every time I go back there.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but yeah, the Philly New York pipeline is a classic.
Yeah,
Classic
it's
pipeline.
It's
classic.
wild when you go back. It's wild when you go back.
Yeah,
But
well, I was just gonna say, like, before we moved, we went to this like party with these people in Bushwick, and they were like making this joke where they were like, if you moved like from New York back to Philly, like if you moved from Philly to New York and then you move back, like you're fucking weak, like just like saying stuff like that, which I think is like really funny, but it's interesting. I feel like a lot of people in Philly are like lifers in Philly, which is I think like really like distinct about that city because I feel like I'm sure that's like the case in a couple places, but like it feels very strong there.
yeah, yeah, you can settle down there. I have some friends who are still out there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just much more cross section of everybody fucking going at it, you know?
Mm,
Yeah.
Which is just like pretty distinct amongst places, cities.
mm,
But yeah, it's rowdy out there too.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we kind of like jumped right into talking about like masculinity, manosphere, online space, your book. But I did also like really want to ask about like your like evolution of like becoming friends with Gian, and like how that changed like your writing and just like how that even happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just reading the books he put out, feeling an affinity with them. Um, yeah, he straddled the kind of literary acceptability with like an outsider quality.
Mm,
And he yeah, just kind of had sort of he's like the last punk. There's no more punk in literature. You know, punk is gone. Um, but he just had that energy, but also a reverence for literature,
mm,
just like that combination. And yeah, I just reached out to him cold. I'd been kind of aware of him. He'd been aware of me, kind of, and um, we just kind of, and he kind of had that mentality of like taking someone as like the person he was like gonna gas up,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that quality. And yeah, he was just like a mentor, big bro kind of guy. Um, and yeah, it was a crazy series of events of how everything happened. And then yeah, there was kind of this big swell after the
Mm,
pandemic, and you know, because he passed away in 2021. And yeah, I felt like it was he had a big impact in a kind of subtle way. But you know, now there's a thriving scene in New York, I guess. No, I don't know.
yeah. Well, I was curious about what you said about there not being any punks left. And like how you feel like he was doing that, but like you don't still see that now.
And yeah, in publishing, no,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah.
No, because you can't. Yeah, you can't like get anything. I mean, you could be a punk, you could be punk, but then you're not gonna have any like that whole thing I was saying where like the avant-garde has to like impact, like they have to like New York Times has to write about it, like,
Mm,
Yeah.
or if you want to have that kind of like impact. Um, but like people would have to listen to what he said, what he like.
yeah.
And then of course with him passing away, it created like an even bigger surge. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, it's like all the stuff we're talking about, like with like just the waning relevance of literature. Like, I think it's like
Hmm.
publishers have to be like very careful and deliberate about like, and the political landscape. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is. Do you think there are?
I mean,
just kind of having, inducing a response from like
yeah.
literary people.
I did think like, and this isn't like a publisher, but I mean, I thought Sophie Kemp's book, like that to me felt, I think the way you're describing, I was like really impressed with it and so excited that someone actually published that. Paradise
Yeah.
Logic for anyone who didn't read it.
And that
Really
wasn't
good.
that published by a big publisher or no?
I can
I thought
check.
it was. Yeah.
Did you read it?
I haven't read that, no.
Really good. Like one of my like new favorite books. And it came out this year, yeah, it came out in March 2025. Oh, it's Simon and Schuster. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what okay, yeah.
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 But I know that like because my friend who like works in publishing currently was talking about this and was just talking about how like big publishers, like if you're I'm not sure what the actual like an agent, I guess, or just like working in that, like I don't know what the actual proper word is, like title. But like they'll get paid way more for publishing something safe like Sally Rooney in comparison to like an experimental novel like that, which sucks.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. There's people writing irreverent stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, what do I know? What do I know?
But no, I think you're definitely like you have such a point because Gion's legacy is like insane, especially just like all the like I feel like writers who have come out of that, like the tyrant like movement.
Yeah. Yeah, bro is a legend for sure.
As kind of a final question, what feels important to you like right now, whether it's internet related, literary related, or something separate?
I think dang, so much pressure on this question.
Yep, this is a big
I
one.
think I've been trying to like sustain my focus on like what I'm working on and like reading. Yeah, I've had this like, ever since I read like Kafka's letters. I have this renewed realization that's like, oh, you have to like sustain your focus on things and yeah, like read things through. Stay off your phone.
Yeah.
Like kind of like getting back to. I mean, every time you finish a book, you kind of have to start over. So like, I feel like I'm kind of back at that place now, where I'm just like um, sustaining my focus on things and not getting distracted by. Yeah, I don't know. It was like it's like a big shift in how everything's going. Just for my time, you guys are starting your New York adventure, but it was like a good 6 years. 6 years I was there, and I'm just kind of like working and being quiet. And stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, so did you just recently move out of the
I
city?
just recently moved. Yeah. Like a couple months ago. Yeah.
Okay.
How's
After
that
being
been?
there for 6 years.
Good. It's good. I'm kind of like up on a mountain, so it's like yeah, it's been storming crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upstate New York is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you in like I mean, I know there's like upstate's huge, but are you in like the Catskills? Like, where are you?
Kind of. I'm like in.
Okay.
Like
Nice.
straight up.
Cool. Went there with my ex-boyfriend once. It was really beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And also, yeah, I like very much, I resonate a lot with that because I feel like I've been trying really hard because I feel like I'm at like maybe the worst point I've ever been in terms of like being able to pay attention to like even just like reading and like sustaining my interest in like books because of my phone. And I'm really trying to get back to a place where I was like, because I was really good at it for a while, like would be writing every day, would feel like I was like making like insane like I don't know, I was just like hitting a flow state every time I would write and like I haven't experienced that in a while, so very
There's
relatable
cycles,
and it's hard to get
there's
to.
there's times you got to eat experiences, like eat
Yeah.
up, and then you got to be quiet and work. So like right when you move to New York, you should be out here.
Yeah.
Going out to Tompkins Square Park, seeing what the weird incels are doing.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe letting them pick you up, see just seeing
and then you can write about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was
you
a
should
good pickup line.
True, yeah.
Wow, you did that. Yeah, that's great.
Kind of like gonzo journalism. You should do that.
Exactly. You want to
What?
date.
Have
Like
them,
letting them pick you up.
dude, like I'm not kidding. I've gone back to try to do that. I'm not even kidding because I've been trying to write about
Brittany,
it.
stop.
What? I'm not.
That's scary.
I want to write about it. It'd be
I know,
so
but
interesting.
you don't know where they're gonna take you.
I'm not gonna go home with them. I just want to
Very
prolong the
avant-garde and
conversation.
very punk. This is
That's
Thank
punk.
you.
You're so punk.
Yeah, so if anyone listening to this wants to publish an essay about this sort of thing, I am actually pitching it around right now, so just so everyone knows.
There you go.
There you go. But yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you for coming on. We have one more thing
Yes.
also.
Okay.
I'll send it in the chat. We have all our guests repeat a thing. We're trying to get this guy on.
Okay.
It's like an internet guy.
He's an internet guy. It's kind of like our shtick is like, oh, will you ask this guy to be on the podcast? We'd really appreciate it type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which guy?
His name's Josh Ovalle.
I sent it in the chat. I don't know if you can see.
I, Sean, hereby request Josh Ovalle collaboration with the Internet is Dead podcast. Please, Josh, be a guest on the podcast. We miss you.
Perfect.
Thank you. This is
That'll
of
help.
you. This is nice of you to ask.
trying to-
Okay, well, thank you for coming on. Really
Thank you for
interesting
coming on.
conversation.
Hopefully we'll get to meet sometime if you're ever back. in the
Hopefully you're not
city.
too mad that I was suicidal by your book.
No, I'm not mad at all.
Okay, cool. I'm glad about that.